Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we are doing the final mock draft for the New England Patriots in this 2024 offseason. It is a full 7-round mock draft, and we're going to break down all these selections. But before we do that, if you're a big fan of the NBA and NHL playoffs and you like to put a couple bucks down on the game that you're watching, click the link down below. BetUS has an amazing promotion going on right now for all of its first-time players of 125% match for your first 3 deposits. Take full advantage of that promotion by clicking the link down below. While you're at it, be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the Tracy Take to get notified whenever we create new content. Ryan, let's pull up the draft here. So the New England Patriots, they've had a busy offseason so far. They've had a lot of re-signings, a lot of new additions coming on to the team as well. Changing head coach, which is something we've only said once in our lifetime. Actually, we probably never said it because we probably weren't watching football when Bill Belichick was hired as the Patriots. And so big just overall culture shift is going on with New England right here. And I think with that comes also to them trading off Mac Jones as a quarterback. It's hard for me to kind of put aside the fact that they're probably going to draft a quarterback here, whether it be Jaden Daniels or Drake May.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Drake May is here at 3, I think they're sprinting to the podium. Jaden Daniels, I have a conflict as a amateur talent evaluator because I really like Jaden Daniels and what he brings to the table. I actually probably like him maybe slightly more than Drake May. Just he has the consistency, he has the pocket presence, and then you throw on top of that the athleticism that you want or that teams covet at that position. I mean, literally only Lamar Jackson is probably a better athlete at the quarterback position than Jaden Daniels is. But I think about New England, I think about Alex Van Pelt and kind of how the Browns ran their system last year and who's been successful in Alex Van Pelt style systems. And it is the traditional big armed quarterback, right, that plays under center. And Jaden Daniels is just not that. And then also think about playing games in December and January in Foxborough, and Jaden Daniels is just not quite, I think, built for that style of play. So I think if Drake May's here, they sprint the card in to see what happens. But if Jaden Daniels is there, I could see them taking them. I also think if Jaden Daniels is there, it's more likely that they trade back or may potentially go with like JJ McCarthy or somebody like that, because I think those JJ McCarthy and Drake May are more built to play, I think, New England style of football, rather than Jaden Daniels would be a little bit of a scheme switch, I guess. So
I can see that. I can understand where you're coming from. I still think they have. I think these are the top 3 quarterbacks on everybody's board. JJ McCarthy, I think, is a clear 4th.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe they value them a little bit more. If they value JJ McCarthy more than Jaden Daniels, then they're definitely going to trade back. Into the spot here. They'll let Minnesota come up or New York or Denver, whoever it is, come and trade up here. So, and that's one of the other potential options. Like, I don't think that they're going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think they'll go with Joe Halls. So I think that it's either quarterback or trade back here. With the overall spot. So
and just speak a little bit about Drake May. I mean, 6'4", 230, has a really big arm. He showed it off at the pro day. The reason why he has had a little bit of a fall from grace from the media is I think you watch just a couple of his games on tape. Specifically, I believe the NC State game was his final college game, and it was just not good. He makes a lot of mistakes in the first half. He does show in the second half a little bit why he is so coveted by NFL scouts, but definitely has some room to grow. He's only going to be 21 or 22 going into the offseason. So if you can get a guy with that much talent here at 3, I think you take it and then you let the coaches work their magic.
Yeah. I think Josh Allen's a little bit bigger, but I still remember when Josh Allen was coming out and they were talking about this kid from Wyoming, like, he can sling it, but he's inconsistent. And I think that's why he's a rookie. That's why he's 21 years old.
Yeah.
You need to learn and develop that. I think you go and put him in this system, and he's going to be set up for better success, I feel, than Mac Jones was coming into this team. Because I think they're starting at the rock bottom, and they're building up this foundation around him. So I think that I'm looking at this as like a Josh Allen projection. You have to give him a couple of years, but he'll slowly go and get there. And because he's already more physically talented than Mac Jones ever was.
Oh, so for sure. So,
but speaking of trade backs, though, in their second round pick, we actually have the Raiders trading up with the New England Patriots here. Patriots get a little bit extra draft capital. Raiders want to trade up, go get Michael Penix Jr., who fell to the second round. Something very similar, I'd say, like a Will Levis situation. So they want to go and get that guy. And Patriots in return get picks 44 and 112 in our mock draft here. So they selected with the 44th pick overall Kingsley Suamataia. He'd be playing left tackle here. You just got your rookie quarterback. You want to be building this offensive line around him. Brian, this is a guy that you really like, especially as we've gone through the offseason so far.
Yeah, so he's Penei Sewell's cousin, and I think
I didn't know that actually.
So his athleticism, he's actually a better athlete than Penei Sewell. He just one was a right tackle that just switched over to left tackle, so he's a little bit raw. He's still learning some of the footwork, but he just needs some refinement with his hand placement and again his footwork. But I think getting a prospect like that here at 44, I think would be really good value. He's a mauler in the running game, and one of the things that Alex Van Pelt really likes to do is run the ball between the tackles. And we were very aware of that with Nick Chubb in Cleveland. I think Ramondre Stevenson is kind of due for a breakout year as well, in a similar style role. And so for me, going and getting a mauler of a left tackle who needs some refinement and pass protection, I think would be awesome. Yeah. And then you talked about they didn't really build around Mac Jones the way that you would have hoped. Go get a young tackle that can develop with your quarterback, especially Drake May if he comes to the Patriots. I don't want to be like you should sit him for at least 8 games, because if he comes in, he's the better quarterback, then play him. He's the better quarterback. But I would be very willing to sit him if needed. And so then Kingsley Suamataia can build up some reps and build up some practice before you go and just thrust Drake May right behind him. And so I think right now Suamataia would be the best left tackle on the Patriots roster. So
yeah, that's what Patriots haven't been in this position a long time, picking the top 5. So you don't really want to be here again. So you got to set up that foundation. And I think with the trade back, they even get more draft capital, such a Patriots thing to do. But they still go and get a great offensive lineman in a class that's loaded with offensive linemen as well. And so continuing to support your quarterback here with the 3rd round pick, I'm going with Tez Walker here, receiver. They have added KJ Osborne. They moved on from Devontae Parker. I think, Ryan, you're very happy with that decision to move on from him. And actually, I do like KJ Osborne coming into this franchise. Demario Douglas, I think it has been a hit so far. He had a good rookie year in a horrible situation, which is something to say. One of the few positive things to say, I think, about the New England Patriots offense last year. And so keep building on that. Might be the only one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think going into Tez Walker, I know he didn't have the best offseason so far. His Senior Bowl was iffy. But I also think, too, you go look at the year that he had, very interesting with the NCAA rules and regulations and trying to get what's the word I'm looking for? Certified to play, essentially. And then you go put him in
eligibility.
That's it. Yeah. And then you go put him in an exhibition week with 6 or 7 different quarterbacks that are all throwing him the ball. I think it's really hard to get rhythm. I think he tested pretty well. Nothing to really stand out too much, but this is also a loaded receiver class. So I think it's kind of hard to hold that against him. I think this is a great value for the Patriots getting this guy here. And I think you go and get him some reps. Also, too, he played with Drake May as well. So there's already some of that familiarity.
Yeah, and that for me, I like Tez Walker as a player. I actually watched him live at the Georgia Tech North Carolina game, and Georgia Tech had one of the worst defenses in college football, so this isn't saying much, but he was continuously getting open. He was actually the product of a fumble that cost North Carolina the game, but that's neither here nor there. That was just a nasty hit that he couldn't have really.
Saw his soul left his body when it came back in real quick.
Yeah,
he got devastated.
Oh yeah, and so that for me, he needs some work at the catch point. But now that he's professional, he's not fighting the NCAA for eligibility. You can just go put him on the jugs machine for 2 hours every day and just be like, you're just working on your hands today. And then you can work on some reps and maybe get him in some contested catch situations and use that height and athleticism. But all in all, I think this is a good frame of a player to work with. You just got to build him up here later. And he has some really nice reps on tape. He has one against not Andrew Booth Jr., Nate Wiggins. Absolutely toast him down the sideline in like a true one-on-one press man rep that Drake May hit him on in the Clemson game. So all in all, I like this pick. I would be happy with these top 3. Let's get into the day 3 picks. So here at 103, Mo Kamara getting an edge rusher. This edge rushing room. So Josh Uche came back on a 1-year deal. Anthony James came back on a 3-year deal. But Matthew Judon is going to be 32 or 33 this season. So getting some young edge guys to kind of play in that room, I think, is going to be essential. Then you have Theo Johnson and Javon Foster, 2 semi-developmental guys at their position. But I think both of those guys have good physical traits to kind of build off of going forward.
Yeah. No. It's very, very offensive focused, but I think even to getting a guy like Mo Kamara and then Jalen Simpson as well, just addressing some areas of the defense. But it's almost kind of reminds me of what Tennessee Titans did, pretty sure it was last year. Yeah, essentially like all offense here. And that's where I really think the Patriots obviously struggled, even with the injuries to Christian Gonzalez and Matt Judon last year. Patriots still had a top 10 defense,
top 5.
Yeah. So it's. I think this is going to be a very offensive focused draft. You wrap it up here, even with Bub Means and then Kamina Vidal as well. Getting more support in the receiver and running back room. You never know I think how some of these guys can develop. And so I think it's going to be very offensive focused. I think that's obviously their clear weakness for the team overall.
Yeah, the Bub Means pick I really like because they got Tyquan Underwood, the Pitt wide receivers coach, last year. So he's now the assistant wide receivers coach in New England, and Bub Means is coming out of Pitt. And like, I don't know why the Patriots seem to do this every year, but they always seem to have ties to like a late round wide receiver. Last year it was Demario Douglas, and that seemed to work out okay. So it'll be interesting to kind of follow. But all in all, here I think the main focus for this draft, get a quarterback or immense value at 3. So that's multiple first round picks. And then trade back. And I still think even if you get that, you're going to invest in a quarterback later on in the draft, maybe like a Michael Penix or a Bo Nix or a Spencer Rattler, kind of in that range. And then put weapons around those guys so they have the best opportunity to be successful, because the last thing that I want to do is repeat what we did with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Because that's disastrous.
Yeah. And that is a sneaky potential option as well. It's like most likely Michael Penix is going to be there at 34. So if you wanted to go Marvin Harrison Jr. and then take Michael Penix and start to build around him, Michael Penix could be a guy that you sit for a year, just kind of with that situation, have him sit behind Bailey Zappi. You can learn from Jacoby Brissett. That just has, it maybe give you some more options. And at the same time, you go get one of the best prospects that we've seen in the past 5-10 years in Marvin Harrison Jr. So it's some fun options, some fun potential options for your team.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below on what you thought of this Patriots 7-round mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.